Hello everyone, welcome to Mind Over Mania, where we keep your head above the chaos. I am recording another pick a card reading, where you get to choose your own intuitively channeled messages. Today's pick a card topic is going to be what's coming in the year of 2026. We're going to talk about whatever spirit wants to bring up for the upcoming year. So this is not going to be necessarily focused on career, money, romance, all that stuff. It's going to be whatever comes out. I have 5 piles to select from today. And for some reason, I'm being told that it's okay to choose multiple piles for your messages. There may be multiple things going on. So if you feel drawn to more than one, that's completely okay. And keep that in mind whenever you're selecting your pile, as there may be multiple good things coming your way as a result. In order to select your pile, put both feet firmly on the ground, take a couple deep breaths, clear your mind, close your eyes, and then whenever you open your eyes, select whichever piles resonate with you the most. Thank you guys so much for starting your New Year's off with Mind Over Mania. I appreciate all the love and support you guys have given me throughout the years, and please make sure to check out my website for more information about mental health, spirituality, and other cool stuff. I've got a blog, a list of professional resources, and I've got some upcoming events, especially if you're in the Austin, Texas area. I will see you guys at your pile. Take care. Bye. Hello everyone. You have chosen pile number 1 with the Mike Wheeler with the walkie-talkie. And these are going to be your messages on what is coming towards you in 2026. What's the tea? What does Spirit want you to know? So right off the bat, whenever I was kind of tapping into y'all's energy, the first thing I was hearing is like, clear your energy out, clear your space. I was using a cleansing mist, which I do use before starting my readings, and there was just something about smelling the evergreen. And it's almost like I had to sit there and think to myself, okay, allow the message to be imperfect. Allow yourself to make mistakes. It's okay. And I was thinking, is this for me or is this for this pile? And I was like, it feels like it's for this pile, as well as myself. Maybe you guys were in trouble for the last couple of years, or maybe there was just something really hard that you were going through, and Spirit's just guiding you to say, hey, it's okay. Like, you're still lovely, beautiful, and amazing, exactly as you are, and Spirit's gonna love you no matter what. And your guides are there to support you too, okay? You're allowed to make mistakes. Not every year is gonna be like last year, and great things are coming towards you. You just have to keep the faith. And I don't know why, like, as I'm talking, I'm imagining, like, Mike from Stranger Things sitting there telling his team, you know, saying, Elle can do this, you know, he had unwavering belief in Elle despite the odds. And sometimes you just gotta give yourself a little bit more pep talks, you know? Take the time to say, hey, you know, I don't know how it's gonna work out, but I know it's going to be, you know? And for this pile, that's kind of a signal of what's coming ahead. Let's go ahead and pull some cards, see what you guys got. I heard the word animal on the loose. So again, it's kind of like, I see the words with the walkie-talkie where it's almost like you're calling in a favor either from somebody or from Spirit. It's almost like, again, I feel like instead of like a Demogorgon, it's almost like there's like something that's run amok in this upcoming year. And so you're like constantly talking with your spirit guides, being like, okay, is this right? I see the Demogorgon over here, you know, so maybe some of you guys are either politically involved, or maybe you're just like trying to coordinate with others and yourself. I could even see this as like, maybe you're trying to learn to set new boundaries, and so you're kind of like doing like, douchebag up ahead, what do I do over, you know what I mean? Like, there's just some kind of an energy of you're doing the things in order to prevent whatever happened to you in the past. And you're taking ownership of that, you know? And there's something about Spirits just saying, like, you're still young, you know? You're still changing and going through things. So, like, you don't have to get things perfect right away. And yeah, I don't know. I'm, like, feeling like either middle school vibes or high school. There's just some kind of, like, an innocence that you deserve to reclaim, where, you know, just because either you're an adult or you're someone that's a little different, you don't need to be holding yourself to the same standard as you set for everybody else. And if anything, I think you need to relax a little bit. You know, you don't show or appear as much of a loser as you think you do. Some of you guys, maybe you were attacked in childhood, or there was just this vibe or energy that is still dogging you even as time goes on. You know, it's kind of like when you're an outcast and you're still carrying that energy from the past, you're not going to realize how bright and shiny you are. You know, and especially if it's your turn to save the day, it's time that you own your own leadership, own your masculine energy, regardless of what your gender identity is, and take charge. You know, call in the troops, come in and say, hey, this is what the plan is, and we're gonna make things happen. You know, and that kind of feels the overarching energy of what's coming towards you in 2026 is this idea either manifesting, or you're finally getting the support you need, or I'm just hearing backup. Like suddenly people are going to start showing up for you more, or there's some kind of either a cause or something that you're fighting towards that you're going to get the support that you need. So for example, if you're trying to buy a house or a property of some kind, you're going to get the right real estate agent. Maybe this is just friendship supports where you're like, hey, you know, I've been really down right now, and suddenly people are going to be showing up, and, you know, I was hearing like making breakfast or time to go to breakfast with you, which that's a good sign. I feel like you also are going to have a much better time with friend groups and, again, being in charge of your life. So you've got entertain. So this deck is actually an entrepreneurial deck. So I'm just going to focus on the high level themes and then analyze the cards after. Okay, we've got elevate, speak. Yeah, I'm also hearing like speak your mind, speak your truth. Also YouTube, so some of you guys, maybe you'll be starting a YouTube channel or putting more emphasis and energy into that. I just want to love you the way you deserve to be. Aw, please be patient with me. I need more time. I see things that remind me of you everywhere I go. I was also hearing like every day. We've got the Six of Swords, the King of Swords. I was also hearing Knight. Knight in shining armor, Five of Pentacles, and Virtuous Heart, which is the High Priestess. And I'm going to save these for... No, they're part of the reading? Okay, cool. I trust that my powerful intentions combined with my faith are enough to allow my vision to become my reality. When I'm connected to spirit, I feel a sense of certainty, magnitude, and ease that I've never known before. When I make joy a priority, brilliant ideas will come naturally, support will surround me, and movements will form. And I heal the habit of fear and I embrace the habit of love. Yeah, okay, so wow, I was getting a lot of messages while I was even just reading your cards off. And it was kind of interesting because whenever I started with this pile, I was immediately getting annoyed with myself and feeling self-conscious and thinking, oh God, when I'm talking, I sound so immature. Or I just had this like, again, it's that feeling from when I was a kid trying to read a report or give a speech, and I was just stumbling over my words, and suddenly I felt really self-conscious, and I'm like, whoa, like, where's this coming from? So maybe you guys are trying out something new, or maybe you've changed, and you're trying to step into your voice. But I am seeing a lot of movement in this upcoming year, where, again, just like this card highlights, make joy a priority, brilliant ideas will come. So I'm seeing you guys getting really inspired, maybe in a couple months. There's some kind of a truth though, or again, I keep hearing like the troops. So maybe in the future, what's gonna happen is you're gonna maybe try and connect with some people, maybe that you haven't connected to before, but they're gonna show up for you in a big way. With Elevate, new mindset, new results. I was also hearing new rules. So maybe, for example, with whatever you're involved with, maybe this could be political change, maybe this is organizational change in your business, or a company you're working for. I'm really seeing there's going to be a new, either a new resolution, maybe you have a New Year's resolution that you're going to be focusing on this year, but specifically I'm seeing it's gonna be a new set of rules. You're gonna be playing it by a new set of rules. So for example, if you've been really working hard towards again, healing yourself and whatnot, it's gonna feel a little strange, especially with that boundaries thing. And saying, hey, I'm gonna say no, and that's exactly how I feel, and I'm gonna stand by it. And then you feel like a tiny little kid just standing behind a podium because it's your first real time using your authentic truth. With entertain, it says your brand should educate and entertain your clients, make them smile, laugh, and feel great when they interact with you and your brand. So there's something about this upcoming year, you're gonna really be focused on kind of keeping your mouth shut but eyes open. Because I'm seeing like with the camera lens here and the finger over the mouth, it's almost like, I don't want to say like you're spying, but I do see you guys watching something or someone. So maybe you've had a difficult player in your past that, you have to keep an eye on to make sure they don't go in and spoil something or ruin something for you. I'm also seeing, maybe you're affiliated with the LGBTQ community or something to do with music. There's just some kind of identity or persona where you're just going to be way more watchful and mindful about what you say, while also at the same time focusing a lot more on your creativity. I'm also hearing, especially in the next couple of months, with speaking, Spirit is kind of encouraging you and is going to give you opportunity to speak. And there's going to be some points in time in the upcoming future where you are going to be running things solo for a little bit. Congratulations, you're going to be the center of attention, and you're going to be catching eyes, and you're also going to be really embraced by your community in some kind of way, or multiple communities depending on the scale. And I just kind of see like again, I'm thinking of Finn Wolfhard, one of the leads for Stranger Things, where it's almost like you're going to be establishing yourself as a personality or a persona. With the King of Swords here, I feel like you're going to be a lot more strategic and intentional with your time, money, and energy this upcoming year. So there's something about you're going to be having your eyes focused on the prize, and you're not going to be putting up with anybody's bullshit. I'm seeing a lot of really putting whatever you put your energy into and concentrate into it, it's going to work out in your favor. Okay. But you're going to need to push through a couple little obstacles, and it really feels like there's some kind of a regret from your past. So maybe you're kind of regretting, maybe I should have invested my money in this other project instead, or there's just some sort of self-doubt that you're going to be pulling your energy away from the self-doubt and more into yourself and the movement that you're trying to make. So again, I'm seeing with movement, maybe you guys are going to start working out again, or start. And also with movement, it really feels more of this is just going to be how you impact people around you. So say, for example, you are really into wellness or mental health, you're going to be influencing other people around you to say, hey, you know what, maybe I should go get that checkup that I've needed, or, oh yeah, maybe I should start up therapy again. That would be a really good priority to have. And I keep feeling too, Knight of Swords, but the word knight, I don't know if the nightlife is going to be important, or maybe you're going to be up late, maybe working on things. I'm seeing, for example, in the background of this, there's almost a Ferris wheel and a bunch of festivals and stuff going on. And I kind of see you maybe moving around. So maybe you're going to be having some fun. Maybe you're going to travel. So I do feel also you might have a really good vacation. However, I am seeing something kind of with this crumbling tower. I feel like you're also going to see some changes in the world that you really weren't expecting or not so it's kind of kind of going off to a foreign country and then kind of seeing oh yeah, that's right, this is when all the bad stuff happened. You know what I mean? Or the bad stuff's going on. So it's you and your friends are having a good time, but you're trying to just focus on the good thing that you have right now. I'm also hearing casino night, or casino royale. I'm also feeling Las Vegas might be significant. I don't know, but there's some kind of just learning to kind of let go and show up with your friends and focus on moving forward and keeping your head up, and keeping your head above the chaos. Just because as you continue to move through and remain positive, the people around you, you're kind of guiding them through their own challenges and mental illnesses. With the Five of Pentacles upright, that is talking about struggles financially. So this is just kind of a heads up and warning that, you know, you may be still dealing with some financial stagnation within the next couple of months or in the future. That's why Spirit is really emphasizing being strategic with your time, money, and again, focusing on what you invest your energy into, because the more you invest into your own prosperity, the easier it is to elevate yourself and others out of this situation. Yeah, and Spirit's also encouraging you, like, whenever you're feeling doubt or insecure or uncertain, I'm almost feeling like, you know, you need to connect to your heart space more and connect with Spirit that way. And also connect with your truth, you know, because there's something about truth that will guide you to say the things that you need to say in the moment, even when your voice is cracking, and even when, you know, I almost see, like, you know, Mike when he was a little kid, saying like, "Ow," and his like voice cracked, you know what I mean? And then now he's become an adult. It's kind of like Spirit saying, hey, you know, it's more endearing than you think when you mess up, because it gives other people the strength and courage to go be yourself. You know, you do have a very strong heart and a good sense of, I feel like, justice as well as intuition. And you also know how to pack a punch when you need to. So don't hold back and don't lose hope. Yeah, but focusing on these cards too, I just want to love you the way you deserve to be. Please be patient with me. I need more time. And I see things that remind me of everywhere I go, and also every day. So it's almost like I feel like maybe you guys are kind of like Mike after 11 left, where he's kind of feeling down and broken and just looking around being like, yeah, there's no 11 anymore. The adventure's over, but that doesn't mean I still don't have a duty to my friends and, you know, my partner to keep moving forward, you know. So maybe there was a significant loss in the last year. But Spirit's saying that, you know, you do deserve love. And you deserve it the way you deserve to be loved. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I think of within Stranger Things, you know, even though they were trying to, you know, fight the world and solve crime, maybe things weren't the best, but, you know, they still had a lot of great memories and good times together. You know what I mean? There were still things worth fighting for. And with be patient, this is kind of a reminder for both yourself and from Spirit. Spirit is telling you that this upcoming year, please make sure to be patient. You know, that just because things don't feel like they're going right or going well doesn't mean that it's not going to work out in the long term. That's why you have to keep your eyes sharp and on the money, as well as also be patient with yourself. You know, like I said, continuing to go with the Stranger Things analogy, it's almost like you have to remind yourself that, you know, when you're facing interdimensional demonic creatures and you're trying to go to school and pretend like everything's fine, meanwhile you're doing all of these things and trying to keep your head above the chaos. Like, again, they were just kids, you know, and somehow they did it. They made mistakes and they learned and they grew along the way. You don't have to do this perfect, especially if it's your first time doing something. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean you're not good at what you do, and it doesn't mean you're not supposed to be doing something, even if you want to show up and be a badass and whatever. You know, give yourself the time this year to grow into who you need to be. And having a year under your belt being your authentic truth, that's the first start. You know, you're not gonna just magically one day wake up and be great. That's kind of saved more so for the movies, you know? People take time, and especially with this King of Lightning, you know, it's not like you haven't already mastered things anyway. So Spirit is reminding you for this upcoming year, stay focused on what you're good at, and remind yourself that even as you learn something new, it's not that you're not a king in other areas of your life. You know what I mean? So maybe, again, if you still struggle with public speaking, it's not like you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? It's not like you're not divinely protected and guided. You know, and with the seeing reminders of you everywhere you go, just pay attention to those little reminders of who you are, what's important, and why you're fighting. You know, why you continue to move forward and say, hey, you know, I trust that my powerful intentions combined with my faith are enough to allow my vision to become reality. You know, like if you want to get out of, like, clear out your debt, see that in everything you do every single day. If you want to find that relationship, focus on yourself. And yeah, and don't become jaded. You know, it's almost like I had like this weird energy of like just like a kind of a dark brooding place, and it's just kind of like, hey, you know, like things aren't always going to work out like they will in the movies, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have hope, you know, because I believe 11 lives and is still alive, and Spirit's just saying remain hopeful, you know? Maybe it's going to be a surprise and you're not going to see it coming. So at the end of the day, just make sure you stay grounded, stay away from any toxic positivity. If anything, maybe you got to take a break from spirituality for a little bit just to get clear of all the twin flame and romance stuff, and just connect back to spirit and your own truth, you know, because you've got a lot more bigger things to worry about, bigger picture. And, you know, the gears are turning, you know, just keep grinding and you're going to be okay. Stay safe. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below if this resonated with you. Thank you guys so much for what you're doing out there in your communities. Thank you for spreading joy, love, and peace in your energy everywhere, because I know you guys in this pile, you're exceptional, and I can't wait to hear about and see what you guys are going to be bringing forward in 2026. If you're interested in booking a personal reading, links are in the description down below. Also, check out my website and my blog, where I've got all kinds of different interesting topics of discussion, resources, all that good stuff. Also, there's events on my website, so if you are looking to either get involved in my community or participate in something, again, check out the links in the description. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye! Hello, everyone. You have chosen pile number 2 with Get In Loser. We're healing from our trauma. And these are going to be your messages on what's coming towards you in 2026. So, right off the bat, I just felt really bubbly and kind of cute. Yeah, just kind of like not like a bubble pop femme, but just kind of like, I just felt like a little girly, a little hair flippy, a little, let's add some pizzazz to things that are going on. And it was interesting too, because the last pile, towards the very end, you know, I was getting that bittersweet energy, and using the analogy of the ending of Stranger Things, where Mike is all like, Ella's gone, blah, 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 I gotta move forward through without her, and then the moment I tapped into this energy, I was like, okay. So maybe, like, you're, like, you know, really, really worried about the upcoming future, and I don't know, there's something like you're just gonna snap out of it and get back into your usual self. So for you guys, pile number 2, regardless of if you resonated with pile number 1, or, you know, you're feeling really down about yourself, Spirit's just like, you're gonna get over it this year. So maybe there's been, you know, I was hearing like quiet quitting, loser energy of like getting over some douchebag ex, or there's just some kind of like I'm just gonna sit and heal. I'm gonna stay in my lane. I'm gonna enjoy myself, and no one can stop me. It's almost like you have like this really resilient energy of, I'm not gonna let anything bring you down. I'm not gonna let you bring me down. I'm not gonna let her bring me down. Try it, and I'll run you over with my car. Jeez. So you guys are feeling a little defiant, a little sassy this year, but it's also at the same time, it's kind of what makes you shine. And I see you guys smiling, so maybe you're gonna be focusing on like taking more pictures, or I don't want to say glow up, but maybe you're transforming into a more, I was gonna say authentic version of yourself, but it really doesn't feel like that, because you're already pretty close to your truth. But it also feels like there's some kind of a shift where there was something about yourself you couldn't acknowledge before, and now you're just not holding back. You know what I mean? Or I'm feeling like there's like a strain in your voice. So maybe instead of constantly trying to tell people, listen to me or take me seriously or whatever, you're just gonna be like, bye. Hair flip. I love it. I love it. It's almost like, you know, when that one person in the girl group just finally says, yeah, step over queen. Or no, it was like, I'm hearing like, step over bitch. We're going in and we're getting mimosas today. No, not then, today. All right? Like, there's definitely just like a, Regina George, like the positive aspect of Regina George basically being like, no, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna do this because this is how it needs to be. And I feel like it's almost gonna be, maybe you had a lack of confidence in the past year or so, but like this year, you're gonna, I don't want to say blow up, but I definitely see you being like, I'm rolling around in my car, what are you gonna do about it? And people will be like, why did you suddenly change? You know what I mean? Like, did you get a new haircut? Is this, like, what's happened? Your car is exactly the same. You're like, I don't care. I'm gonna be bougie, and you're gonna deal with it. Get it? Yes, I heard the word, like, serving. Yes, queen. Okay, let's look at some of the cards you got. There's some kind of a deception going on here. And the reason why, which it makes sense because I finally checked what this card was, and it's the Three of Swords, and I was like, oh, you want to be in reverse, right? And it's like, no. So again, maybe there's a little bit of like crybaby drama where I almost see like maybe you rejected someone and they're like, nah, like, I don't know, if you're into Sonic the Hedgehog and you know anything about Chow, like they're very like childish, and you've got like the devil and the angel fighting, and it's almost like this other person's just like, nah, like, well, I didn't like you anyway, and you're just sitting there like, this guy is abusive and mean, wow, like, it's just kind of humorous, you know what I mean? Like, I just see like a little bit of the, nah, deal with it, you know? And so maybe you're going to be having this internal argument in a couple different areas of your life, because you might be sitting there saying like, hey, maybe you should like chill out, you know, with the feistiness. And you're just like, maybe we can talk about that at a different point in time. But yeah, we got Freedom's Wind and Hero. And what I'm kind of getting from this vibe is this year, upcoming year, is going to have some highs and lows. That's why I think you're going to just stop giving a shit. Because it kind of feels like, you know, you just keep rolling. And, you know, I saw like the license plate saying cutie. And it's just like, yeah, okay, I got a flat tire. I'm still cute. I'm still rolling. You see me bothered? No. You know, and if anything, like with the hero card, that's all about strength. It's traditionally considered the strength card. And it's almost kind of like you're going to start being your own hero. You know, you're going to start saying like, hey, you know what? I know I'm feeling down, but, you know, get in, loser. We got to keep moving. You know, like, we're fabulous. Why are you sitting here waiting around? And I also see the sun too, where like maybe some days things aren't sparkly, you know, and you are going to sit there and have a couple rough days. You know, maybe you break a nail. Maybe there's, you know, you feel like you're being a poser, honestly, being like, wow, how could I pretend like I'm bougie when I've only got $2 in my wallet? You know what I mean? But like with this heartbreak, you know, you're breaking your own heart by remaining miserable and standing still, you know, and that's why I think it's really going to be your choice on how you move through a lot of this chaos and change. And like I said, it's kind of like, it's just what you're going through. You know, and, you know, the fact that you sometimes consider yourself a loser during these times and the low points, it's like, it's not necessarily true. And so you're going to really get a lot better at learning to enjoy the palm trees. Like, again, we've got two suns in these. And even though there's like a storm cloud overhead, it's kind of like, well, the lightning hasn't struck the ground yet. We're going to still keep moving, you know, like moving from place to place. Getting mimosas, yeah. I am seeing a little bit, though, of a need to occasionally take a time out. You know, when you're vacationing, don't rush, rest. You know, please take your time. And, you know, also make sure you take good advice, too, because sometimes when you're being a little sassy, you want to make sure that you're listening to when your angels and spirit guides come in and say, hey, actually, that wasn't a good move back there. And you're like, oh. You know, you can admit when you're wrong. It's okay. You can be fabulous and be able to have a calm, satiated ego. I'm also hearing right, too. So, all right, so these are my feminine entrepreneurial deck. And so the first card I was drawn to is right. It says, copywriting is the art of persuasion. Learn how to craft words that speak to the heart of your ideal clients. Yes. So for those of you who are writers, get out your pen and pencils because you're going to be doing a lot of writing this upcoming year. So I'm almost feeling like, maybe you're going to be writing a perspective piece. I'm also maybe seeing photography. So whatever kind of project you're working towards, it's going to be your time to shine. Because I'm seeing like with the typewriter, the rose and the T. I don't know if you guys can really see that, but I'm almost seeing like, yeah, you're going to be making whatever you do look fabulous. It's kind of like even when the whole world is making you feel, worthless and broke and whatever, whenever you sit down to write, it's just going to be so magical and really bring things to life. And especially with trauma too. So maybe you're going to start actually learning how to associate your trauma with better things and more positive ways of dealing with it. So for example, maybe you write music or poetry. I'm just seeing like you're gonna be using your gift in a lighthearted way that's going to be, one, really positive and helping others and getting attention, but I really feel like you're not going to care about what kind of attention it gets. Because again, it's kind of like it makes you feel good to either be posting about it or talking about it and setting a vibe. And I think you need that vibe for yourself to make you feel fabulous. Okay? Because there's something about, like, again, even with this walkie-talkie mic over here, regardless of what you're doing in your spare time, make the time to be a free spirit again. Romanticize your life a little bit. It's your journey and your choice of how you want to spend your free time. And sometimes you need to make sure you get yourself a little snack, because you are the snack. And also I'm seeing flowers here throughout too, because we've got, for appreciate and prioritize, bouquets of flowers, typing, so maybe you guys are going to be working on a business on the side, or maybe you're going to be just typing your thoughts out and getting them on paper while you're trying to process what happened in the past. Again, it's like, think about the loser and be like, what would I say in a classy, feminine way? Other than fuck you. With appreciate, it says practice gratitude as a part of your sacred daily ritual, feeling deep appreciation for your blessings, manifestations, more abundance and joy. Yeah, it's kind of like, I think when you stop allowing things to control you, this upcoming year is going to really cause you to look around and appreciate the things that are going right in your life. Again, the ability to just, go take a nice clean shower and a bath maybe, or maybe there's something that you've been working towards that you're finally going to get a couple of your roses for. There's just some kind of a recognition that's going to come through where people are going to be appreciating you more this year, but also you're going to be appreciating things that are tangible in your life. Like maybe your parents gave you a gift and you appreciate all the hard work that, they did or your grandparents did to get you that. The fact that you're allowed to be able to sit there and say, yeah, I can sit in the sun and enjoy myself today. Again, regardless of how stressful things are, you're still in a much better position, despite how you're feeling, than you were in the past. And it's about letting go of this idea that you have to be a loser or feel like a loser just because things aren't going that well. It's like, okay, cool. I'm allowed to have nice things even if I'm struggling. And Spirit's watching out for you too. Spirit's saying that this year you are going to be protected. And it's saying, like, just listen to your spirit guides when you need to. Okay? Like, that's really, really important because Spirit is the one that's going to be guiding you towards the decisions and discernment you need in order to make sure that this year you come out okay. But you're going to need a lot of strength. And that resilience means sometimes buckling down and being lovely even when you don't feel like it. It's like, it's hard sometimes to, put your sunglasses on and carry on. But at the end of the day, there's a beauty to all this that Spirit's encouraging you to engage in, because it'll make you have a softer landing when the hard times come. We've got elevate, new mindset, new results. Elevate your mindset if you want to get different results. If you keep thinking and acting the same way, nothing will change in your business. Yeah, so there's something about in the upcoming year, you're going to be posed with an opportunity to explore a new mindset. So again, giving yourself roses and acknowledging them for others. But there's something about, like, when you choose to have a new mindset this year, that's when you're going to start seeing something different. And it's almost like I'm hearing like a foreshadowing where you're so afraid of the results of what a new mindset shift is going to have. And Spirit's saying, like, it's okay. Spirit is literally saying, get in, loser. You know, stop questioning me. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, I guess like I'm sitting here thinking of, like, for example, soft girl life, you know, where you're thinking like, oh my God, I've got to put all this time and money and energy into my hair. I don't have money to do my nails. I don't have my money to do this and blah, 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 blah. And then Spirit's just like, oh my God, it's going to work itself out. Blink, blink, blink. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on. It's going to be paid for. It's going to be okay. All right. And if anything, investing in yourself and making things look a little nicer, taking that extra time, more money. You know what I mean? It's kind of like saying, like, there's a difference between luxury and showing off, and being able to invest in yourself and taking that little extra time and energy to put into things that you value. You know, you're not going to be having as much of a negative attitude towards it. Neither are other people. You know, people are going to be more gravitated towards it when you take the time to make things look good, feel good, because you're going to look and appear more at ease, even if you're faking it. You know, just smile through the pain a little bit, but not all the time. You don't need anybody else's approval to feel how you feel, right? Prioritize, focus, narrow your focus. Split energy leads to poor results. So there's something, I don't know if this is about a career, like getting in touch with somebody. I feel like you're going to be really focused on communication, either with a certain person. This could be, I was hearing like either like politics or an identity. There's just going to be something you're really going to be pinpointing and honing in on. And I'm seeing like with these rings and other little fidget devices, you know, it's kind of like you can still be fabulous and have your ADHD stuff. It's just what Spirit's trying to let you know is even if you've got ADHD or PTSD or whatever struggle you're having with focusing, that's where allowing yourself to have your roses is really, really important to make sure you give yourself that extra pat on the back. Because maybe you had people in your past making fun of you for looking disorganized or crazy or chaotic, or they don't think you're smart enough to do this. Spirit's saying you just got a different method than everybody else. And it's about finding out how your focus works, right? So for example, I'm being given the analogy of how I like to get things done is I do it on a rotational basis. Okay, so if I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I really don't feel like I can work on this project, but I've got the energy for this project today. So I'll rotate. I'll take care of the things I absolutely need to get done, and then I'll rotate to the project that I actually need to work on, you know, in the moment. And so then eventually over time, even though it feels like stuff isn't getting done, as you're measuring each project as it goes up, you're going to be able to say, hey, even though my focus is split, I'm still focused on me. I'm still focused on the overarching goal and foundation of my project. You know, so for example, if you're, again, a business owner, you're going to be having to do 4 or 5 different things, you know, where it's like, I got to do the social media, I got to do my emails, I got to respond to this client, I have to go to that networking event, you know, like there's all these different things, and it's kind of like moving, and it feels like a chaotic, jumbled up mess, but getting organized and taking that time to prioritize, that's what's really going to help it feel a lot less chaotic. You know, because again, missing that one and super special important client is a whole heck of a lot worse than missing your social media deadline. You know what I mean? And then finally with attract, it says focus on attracting and building relationships with clients who are happy to buy your products and services. Yeah, so for you guys, this upcoming year is all going to be about that. Like, girl, sit and just look pretty. Accept your flowers, damn it. Let people love on you. You know, maybe you're not going to be receiving items, but hey, let that handsome guy smile at you for a little bit. Let yourself look in the mirror and look a little pretty. Feel a little pretentious. Do whatever it is you need to do. Be a little sexy, you know? There's just something about just like, let loose and have a good time, and you're going to be surprised at how much more time, money, and energy you're going to save by just allowing yourself to take it easy a little bit more. All right, so final messages. We have, you make my heart happy. I want to talk to you, but don't know what to say, and I miss you. Aww. I don't know know why, but I feel like, you know, when you're like looking good, looking and feeling happier, you've forgotten about this ex and this drama and stuff. I don't know if someone's gonna, I don't want to say someone's coming back, but there's some kind of like a reconciliation. So maybe there was somebody you got into an argument with last year, and this year they were kind of like, hey, yeah, I was going through some trauma. And so I said some things and I wanted to apologize, you know? And like with You Make My Heart Happy, there's kind of like a really good self-fulfilling prophecy in a good way. You know what I mean? Because as you put more positive energy into you, more other people are going to put positive energy into you. And it's kind of just like, I feel like, you know, like it's almost like you're going to be healing and you might be ready to talk about something, but not yet. You know, you're just kind of finding the words, and it's okay if you don't have them yet. You know, you're still getting your ish together. You're still trying to put together the remnants of your life and whatever the heck is going on. And even if you're choosing between if you're going to be an angel or a devil, Spirit's just saying let go of that being the focus right now. Don't focus on being correct and focus on being authentic, because I think that's going to give you a lot more answers to the truth, and it's also going to allow you to let your hair down and kind of feel less like you're being an evil bitch and more saying, hey, I'm a human and I don't have to be constantly perfect all the time. I don't have to be answering everything correct, and I'm allowed to be a little snarky and sassy sometimes. You know, I don't have to bite my lip every single time I say something that hurts someone's feelings, especially if they deserved it, you know? And Spirit's saying, hey, you know what I mean? Let Spirit do all the walking and the talking and keeping you safe, and just remind yourself that you do have a sword to protect yourself. You don't need to appease bastards. You can go ahead and say, okay, smile for the camera and leave. Get what you need and go. You don't have to stick around and put up with anything. Yeah, there's just something about your authentic truth is so valuable, and everyone loves to see it. And, you know, you being cuddly and nice and cute and all that just really brings out a smile in everybody around you. So, and I think you're going to start finding yourself a lot more happy this upcoming year too. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, comment down below if you enjoyed this reading. Links are in the description down below if you're interested in purchasing a reading, or check out my website with my blog that has all kinds of other information on spirituality, mental health, and I also have a resource list in case you are struggling with your mental health or other things requiring social services. I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, everyone. You have chosen group number 3 with Don't Trade Your Authenticity for Approval. And these are going to be your messages on what's coming towards you in 2026. Wow, y'all's energy, I'm feeling very much like a deep inner conflict or split or wound, where part of me is feeling like really excited, and another part of me is feeling like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And I got a headache immediately. So some of the things that I was hearing when I immediately tapped into your energy was like, all right, this is going to be your year to take action. But then immediately I was just feeling all of the chaos and drama of the past. And it's almost like if I take action, all the shit I've been avoiding or experiencing is all going to blow up in my face. I heard something like the Terminator, it's the end of times. Oh man, sending you guys big hugs, pile number 3, because I'm just like, you guys are going through it. And I don't know if you're saying like this is like the worst of it or this is going to be the end of it. It's kind of like you have to get through this final breakthrough in order to manifest and do the right thing. You know what I mean? And so you're trying to like hype yourself up to be like, okay, it's time for me to tackle that small thing, you know, or it's almost like I was about to say, oh yeah, you're going to tackle the big thing. No. We're going to focus on the small thing because that's what my therapist told me to trust. You know what I mean? And then it's like nervous laughter and then all of this pain. And it's kind of like you're needing to like go through some kind of a self-harm or no, it's almost like geez, maybe you've been really struggling with self-harm of some kind, or you've been seeking out the approval of other people for so long that this upcoming year you're like, that's it, I'm gonna be myself. But it's almost like you're like, I'm like a step away from a mental breakdown. My tongue is tied. Please don't admit. Please, please, please. And it's just like, ugh, my brain's all frazzled. So yeah, make sure that you take the time to just wing it. Okay, I'm sorry. Normally I'd be like, oh, ground and breathe and blah, blah, and I'm like, I'm sure you guys have heard that message from both my readings and other people and your therapist 1,000 fucking times. And it's not gonna matter because it's still gonna suck. And so everything that I keep being drawn to is Archangel Michael. Okay, and what's cool about Archangel Michael is, he's a protective angel. And he's a tough guy and he's a badass, but he also is really, really strategic and can help you through these things. I'm hearing the word like close calls. So maybe you had a brush-in with death. Maybe you had a brush-in with law enforcement, or maybe there's just some kind of like you're deathly terrified of getting assaulted or attacked for whatever this authentic truth is, and you've been feeling so scared and overwhelmed. And Spirit's just trying to say, like, Spirit has your back. Okay, like they're literally like they've got like two hands out ready to support you, whenever you fall apart, because really it just feels like not that there's just something about what you're going through that like you're self-harming, and it's not what you think it is, like, and again, like it's almost like every time I like sit into your energy, I just want to cry, because it's like you are hurting yourself over that. That was your truth, and that's what you were beating yourself up with for years. Like, I think what's really important for you guys to know in 2026, guys, is you're gonna pull through something that was really, really hard to admit. Maybe it was a close call, maybe it was somebody did something to you, and you just couldn't move forward or move through it, right? And Spirit's saying, like, there's no right way to process this sort of truth or alignment. You know what I mean? That's why they're kind of saying wing it, because they're like, hey, if you got wings, go fly. Maybe it's time to go fly south for the winter, metaphorically speaking, Maybe it's a time to say, hey, pack it up and move for safer waters. You don't have to put yourself through trauma time and time again to prove who you are. And again, with like approval, again, it's like you gotta win your own approval to be kind, to be tough, to be any of these great things, because you feel so worthless inside. And it's like, no, no, like, oh God, like I'm rubbing my eyes, because like I was crying really hard earlier today about everything that's already going on in 2026 at the beginning of the year. And with this pile, it's literally just like, please stop going through this. Take care of your home. Take care of your kids. You know what I mean? Like, pack up and go home. That's kind of what it's saying, is it's literally just saying, like, now is not the time to fight. This is not the way, or the way you're going about something. And Spirit's just kind of reminding you to be the good you want to see. There's already so many hateful and hurtful people out there. And what we need is kindness and softness right now in certain areas, and for you guys especially. And fortunately, that's going to be coming, that breakthrough's coming this year, but it's going to unleash something that you sought out, for a long time. And it's going to hurt when you realize that you had it within you the whole time. But don't focus on that pain, guys. It's temporary. If anything, that pain is what's blocking you, and that pain is trying to tame you when you were never meant to be tamed. Okay, maybe so you got a little bit of an ego. Maybe you got a little carried away. And I heard like taken, so maybe, taken for granted. Maybe you were pushed around and beat down, but like, it's not worth it. Guys, it's this upcoming year, like, please be gentle and kind towards yourself, towards your enemies, towards your spouse. And just remember who you are underneath all the pain and the tragedy. Okay? Like, this is just who I keep thinking of. You know, Archangel Michael is a badass, and everyone thinks of like the violence and the protection and all that stuff, but he's still an angel. And what's cool about divine protection is it's not always bloody and brilliant, and slashing and all that stuff. Sometimes it's very calm energy and peace laden. Because again, you know when it's time to go home. You know when it's time to give up. Don't go towards this path or continue this abusive behavior towards yourself. You know, because I feel like a lot of this is more angled towards yourself and within yourself. And then maybe it's almost like I saw one of our other stickers where it's like it's almost like throwing up a rainbow. So it was like, you know, maybe after you finally let go and break through this toxicity, people are gonna see who you really are. And it's gonna hurt for a while. Maybe you were outed, maybe I heard the word Christian, maybe I said something or a truth out there that hurt you, or maybe there was some kind of a triggering that made you realize that you were wrong, or something about your body or being in shape. But there's just something about, like, again, don't trade your authenticity for approval. Yeah, sorry, I'm just thinking about what I was crying about earlier. And I guess I can tell you guys, because this is probably related to your pile, but like I was crying about the people who I grew up with and who I thought they were authentically, they're not behaving authentically right now. Or if this is their authenticity, they're not choosing a path that was in alignment with what they promised when they were younger. They didn't practice what they preached. And I think of all the children that are hurt right now, the injustices and the vile things that people are justifying because they're angry and hurt. It's too far. And I don't know how I'm supposed to look at some of these people again the same way. Because, you know, when I get angry and I have really harsh thoughts and I really beat myself down, and then I pause and I remind myself, I have a voice in my head that tells me that this isn't okay, and I didn't go down that path, and I made better choices. And that tells me a lot more about who I am now compared to who I used to be. At the same time, I'm grieving the loss of the people that I'm no longer in alignment with. And I don't know if they're ever gonna stand by their authenticity, or if they're going to continue to search for the approval of others because they're scared. I heard friendless, enemy, ego. I don't know. It's just all this chaos and shit that I'm just like, I want no part of it anymore. And you're going to see your own truth this year. Pile number 3. I keep hearing the word Chris. So maybe you just got to make sure to tap in with yourself and remind yourself, hey, you're still in here regardless of how you're feeling in the moment. You got to live with whatever decision that you make. And how you talk to people matters. And just remind yourself of your wings, of your light, and the life that you want. You know? Leave the demon hunting to spirit and use your own discernment and focus on your own shit first before attacking and going after other people's personal lives or lives in general. Okay. So, pile number 3. You've got the Queen of Cups in reverse, 10 of Pentacles, think that's that's the Magician in reverse, and then the Seven of Cups. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because, like, my brain, I'm feeling, like, really foggy. So maybe this year, because of you maybe not really having a hard time connecting to your authentic truth or just having all this pain, it's going to make some things slow down a little bit. Maybe towards, I think you're just going to go through intervals as you kind of go through certain things and kind of accept either some mistakes or lessons you need to make. With the Ten of Pentacles, that's kind of telling me there's some kind of an accomplishment that's going to come through, but it's going to feel a little hollow. So for example, I'm seeing maybe you receive an award, maybe you get a degree, so maybe you're going to graduate for some of you, or there's some kind of an education, but it's almost like there's some kind of a milestone that you're going to maybe end up regretting later for its affiliation. So for example, I'm seeing this and I'm almost like I'm viewing, so since this is a Sonic the Hedgehog tarot deck, I'm seeing, oh, that's like Dr. Eggman, which he's, Dr. Eggman, for those of you that don't know, he's the villain in this series, and it's almost like I see this person got a degree from the evil guy's university, and so there's kind of like a, okay, just because you got a thumbs up from an asshole doesn't mean that means anything. And so it's kind of like, again, don't trade your authenticity for approval. You know, there's going to be a lot of temptations for making good money, but that also comes with a price. You know, be careful who you affiliate with, pile number 3. And especially with toxicity, you know, like, it's kind of like you can trade approval for authenticity, but also the other way around. You know, and there's something about, like, be careful when you're signing contracts, read the fine print. I heard the word Doge, so maybe some of you guys, like, sell crypto or something like that. I'm also seeing, like, with this Queen of Cups, I'm seeing, like, maybe the ghosts of your past are gonna come back to haunt you a little bit, at least emotionally. Because it's almost like I see, like, a group of people, like ghosts, people that are in the background watching, or, like, people that used to be there for you are not going to be there for you as they used to be. Maybe not, you know? But it's kind of like, I'm seeing, like, this fire in the background as well. So it's almost kind of like people maybe looking to you to guide them through something. Meanwhile, you're like, I have no way to regulate my own emotions through this. And so be prepared to kind of be willing to sacrifice maybe your emotional sanity and safety in exchange for some money, or maybe you're going to make that choice. I don't know, there's some kind of a sacrifice that might be made this upcoming year, pile number 3. And again, Spirit's is reminding you to say, don't go for something that doesn't offer you alignment to your truth and your values. With the Magician in reverse, I'm seeing, like, some of your manifestations are maybe going to fall through. So maybe, for example, you're like, okay, I was working really hard towards this, and then your depression caused you to oversleep, and you didn't make it to that event like you wanted to, and you blew up on yourself because you're just like, why do I always fuck this up, and blah, 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 blah. And Spirit's is saying, hey, it's your choice and it's your truth. You get to set the tone of what that truth looks like, you know? And I think you're just going to start getting tired of reacting to yourself that way when you're clearly struggling, you know? And you need to start winning your own approval. Like, what is it going to take for you to start loving yourself? With the Seven of Cups, fortunately, that's a good card for talking about options, you know? So I'm almost feeling like kind of like leadership and taking charge of what's going on in your life, saying like, hey, you know when to rest and know when to kind of look around and see like, okay, it seems like I've got a bunch of options, but these are really the ones that are more in alignment towards my goal of, you know, again, building this wealth and whatnot and foundation. I'm also seeing stability too. So maybe you guys are finally going to find a career or a job choice that you can start getting more grounded in again. Again, I'm seeing like the more you kind of accumulate knowledge and certifications and awards and accomplishments, this is going to build over time and you're going to have like a really great career. And maybe if you did make a mistake in the past, all of these other choices are going to build up and kind of outshine the one bad decision that you make. However, you just have to continue to choose putting energy into those things instead of like, again, if you had to borrow money from somebody that wasn't a good person, stop doing that and go make another choice. You know, it's not like it's the end of the road forever. You know what I mean? That's why it's like, but it took me a while to get out of that energy. And so like you kind of have to, again, remind yourself that there are other options out there. Don't let your depression give you that tunnel vision to say, no good things are going to happen. I don't have a way out of this situation other than relying on this person. No, you know, and just kind of give yourself the ability to say, stop. You know, I'm not going to let myself become overwhelmed over something that this jerk or I heard like able-bodied person say. So, interesting. Yeah, just stay determined and fierce. I don't know why I always get this whenever I pull cards, where it's the informational card. Yeah. The thing that my eye was drawn to right here is like Dear One. And it's just kind of like, I'm seeing like maybe a letter. So maybe you're gonna write a letter to somebody that you love. So this could be like a family member. I'm hearing like some rejection. So it's almost like I see you guys like maybe you're going to be applying to many different jobs or applying for opportunities and you're just going to be like, yeah, this is who I am. So again, it kind of feels like, again, a lot of opportunities and a lot of just going through the motions of like, keep trying, you know, continue to stay positive. Maybe you're going to be advertising for your business, but you're not going to have a lot of luck. Yeah, because it's like the secret formula to create a 6-figure spiritual business that influencers will never reveal. Yeah, I think also you got to be careful to not fall for scams, which that's, I think, is also kind of tied to this like certification thing, where, you know, you're not investing money in time and learning, like not spending money towards people and things that don't provide value for your life, you know, or a fake certification, you know, because I feel like there's some of you guys are susceptible to that stuff versus others are kind of like, eh. We've got train and trust. Okay, so with online marketing, it says implement a solid marketing plan that builds your clients' trust in you. When you show up consistently for them, they'll know you care. And then for train, it says exercise daily to keep your body and spirit strong, healthy, and full of energy you need to build your business. Yeah, so I'm kind of feeling like you're going to be training yourself to trust in you more. You know, that even though you're like, okay, due to my mental health or due to my poor decision making, I'm still going to show up and learn that I'm reliable anyway. And you're like, but I'm not reliable because I've got XYZ thing going on, or this thing fell through and blah, 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 blah. And they're saying, hey, ups and downs. Don't look at it as a personal failure. Look at it as a cycle. You know? Sometimes you're going to be floating, sometimes you're going to be sinking, but at the end of the day, it always equalizes. You know, and for you guys, pile number 3, if I'm being honest, if you've got this level of depression, having experienced it myself, you got to kind of train your brain to overcome it. Okay? This isn't just a like, oh, I'm going to take some meds and one day I'm going to wake up and I'm happy. It's like, no, you have to literally build and develop a muscle to keep yourself through these dark spells, you know? Yeah, especially like with this Eggman energy, this evil lurking villain energy, it's kind of like you don't owe anybody your time, money, or energy, especially if you're afraid of like, again, I'm seeing like an authority figure, so like maybe you're trying to censor yourself because you're afraid of what someone else is going to say, like a parent, a boss, or I'm hearing like a shareholder or a lone person or whatever. It's kind of like, be strategic and smart. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to like don't go out there and wear your heart on your sleeve 110%, obviously, but like, you don't have to compromise on certain things. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, you can call out injustices and you don't deserve to be fired for your job. And even if you do get fired, don't work for them anyway. You know, that's just shitty. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, do what you need to do, get your bag and go. You know? But also don't put up with bullshit either. You know? And I also see you guys this upcoming year, like maybe you are going to protect some other people too. Because you're just like, hey, I'm tired of getting pushed around and you guys should be too. Aww. I'm sorry, like while I was sitting there, I was looking at this Queen of Cups and I just felt like this energy of someone like nuzzling my back or like my neck and just kind of showing love in a way that like they can't put it into words, but they just want to show you that they really appreciate you standing up for them even though they can't do it for themselves. Yeah. And it's kind of like this person gained your they trust you and they approve of you. And again, I just saw like just that energy and it just felt like so loving and tender and being like, yeah, like maybe that person's too depressed to reach out and say or do anything, but they know that you're still there fighting for them. And they don't want you to trade your authenticity for approval either. Whew, yeah, this is heavy. Okay, gonna keep moving. I have your picture on my phone and I look at it all the time. You make me feel like the luckiest person in the world. I wish we could be together right now and I can't wait to fall asleep in your arms. Yeah, so maybe you guys are fantasizing a bit about a romantic situation for this upcoming year. And again, my eye keeps getting drawn to approval. It's kind of like you have to let go of the idea that, now hear me out, that you need approval from somebody in order to be great. In order to be worthy of love, you know? Because like, again, even if the love of your life showed up right now, you really wouldn't be able to sense it or talk to that person in a healthy way. You know? Maybe your authentic, loving person is going through some shit right now and they can't come towards you. You know? It's almost like I'm seeing like all this focus on the accomplishments, but what about the person underneath it? You know? Like you guys are trying so hard to achieve your goals and do all this stuff. And like I said previously in the reading, it's like, let yourself be loved, babe. Like, yeah, I'm looking at that. I have your picture on my phone and I look at it all the time. I'm hearing like the word reminiscing. You make me feel like the luckiest person in the world. Yeah. Don't let yourself stay stuck in the grief, guys. It's a trap. Don't continue to beat yourself up and feel sorry for yourself. It's gonna work its way out the way it needs to. And your accomplishments mean nothing when you're not there with it. And I think that's what you gotta start healing and reminding yourself, because it doesn't matter how great you are, how much you push through, trading the things that make you amazing and great, the reason why people love you. Like, these are your friends. And maybe they're scared of you right now. And maybe they want to help, but they don't know how. And your truth is so much more important than the feelings that are being brought up right now. Don't lose hope. And yeah, again, just make sure that you keep reaching out for help. Move slow. Train yourself. Because again, I'm seeing with this manifestation where it's like, if you continue to not know how to pull yourself out of these down periods, of course, the more you try putting energy into achieving all this, it's not going to happen. Okay? It's not going to happen. That's why you train. You build your muscle to say, okay, maybe I'm down and depressed right now, but I know someday. Aw, okay, I'm thinking of a song I wrote a long time ago where, this is kind of a silly story, but I'm gonna share it with you guys because we're gonna both have a mutually depressed moment. When it was after I graduated college, there was a guy I had a crush on, and he wrote songs, and he was like uploading videos and stuff. And I was sitting there thinking like, okay, maybe he wrote a song about me. Cause like he had like a really nice, just like a really nice personality. And I really liked how cute the songs were. And I was thinking at that point that he was crushing on me, but, come find out he was not. But what had happened was I was listening to the song and I really liked it. And then I just remember watching it and then just had at the end of the song that realization where I was like, he's not writing songs about me. None of this is about me. And I got really sad and frustrated and tired because I was like, damn it, I deserve having a song written about me by somebody who's adorable like this person. And I was so upset about it that I said, I'm gonna make a damn song for myself. And the chorus is, I'm not gonna sing it, but it's gonna say, like, someday I'm gonna be the girl they write songs about. Someday they're gonna listen to the words I shout. Someday I'm gonna be so bright they'll finally see me. I'll get there, believe me. I just want you to hear me. Yeah, I'm not singing it for you guys. I know some of you were like, please sing it. And I was like, no, my voice isn't that great yet. But you know what I mean? It's kind of like that was just like a silly little vulnerable moment that like give yourself the opportunity to enjoy those little truths because they mean something. You know what I mean? Like if I heard a friend of mine drop something like that, I'd be like, go sing the song. Like I don't care if you feel weird. Like you sound amazing because it's you, and just, try to just interject little fangirls moments of yourself, especially when you're down. Like don't do it when you're happy, do it when you're down. Because that's when you need it the most. Maybe you gotta blow a fan in your face and let your hair flow in the wind, or like find weird sensory things to keep yourself grounded. Water might be important to you as well, but like, it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry a ton. It's okay to cry waterfalls, but the only thing that you can't do for me, guys, is give up. Okay? Because good things are coming. Just one step at a time. And even when it feels like you're in this really low place and you're like, wow, I have to sell my soul to all this stuff, it's kind of like, you don't need to. Okay? But in order for you to stop selling your soul, gotta focus on this depression and how to get through the lows. And then you're gonna slowly come back, and it's almost like I was about to say, and then you'll be great again. And I was like, no, you kind of always were great, even when you're depressed. And something about like, I have your picture. It's like, tee, like, yeah, go take pictures of yourself when you're happy. Take pictures of yourself when you're sad. Even when you're sad, you're still hot, right? Yeah. And I want to let you guys know, pile number 3, because I know you're feeling miserable and I'm feeling sappy and all that stuff. You make me feel like the luckiest person in the world because you're watching this tarot reading right now. And, I like making these videos because they help me feel good. I get to go back and watch them, but knowing that they're helping someone like you out there, it makes it all worth it. It means that I kept going when I felt like this, because I knew someday my voice was going to cheer someone else up, even if it was myself. But you guys are why I continue to show up every day. Because the more I engage with y'all, the more I remind myself that I'm not alone, and I don't want to live a life not connected to amazing people like you guys. I'm just saying. And you're like, why would you say that? You don't even know me. I'd be like, well, you showed up here. You didn't find me for no reason. Like, excuse you, fuck you, for thinking that you're not amazing. You know, like, sorry, like, rude. Anyways, when I connect to the spiritual realm, I open the door to receive divine guidance, clear direction, and great wisdom. I can decide today to recalibrate my joy and commit to love and joy. And I let the universe catch up with my dreams. Yeah. You know, and even if, you know, today or tomorrow, you know, you're sitting there being like, I'm dreaming about going on a hike and seeing some waterfalls this summer. Will I have enough money to go on vacation? Probably not. But I can dream about it. And then someday I probably will. You know? And that someday's right around the corner. And Spirit just keeps saying, like, it's right around the corner. Don't let the overwhelming impending doom stop you from being a good person, from connecting to others and yourself. And again, anytime you're feeling low, ask Spirit to give you some strength. Okay, I have to tell one more story. The story of the ages. And then I'm gonna wrap up your reading. But it's a good story, and it always cheers my one friend up, so I'm gonna share it with y'all. Okay, so one time, way back around the time when I was developing PTSD in college, I was having a really bad day. I was stuck in Target while my mom was having us take photographs for like yearbook and Christmas and all that stuff, like the professional ones, and it was really awkward because I was like, you know, freshly 21, and basically what had happened was I was so upset and frustrated because we had been there for over an hour while my mom was doing whatever. So I went into the bathroom to go cry because I just felt it coming. Went in the bathroom, stood in the stall, and I was just crying. And I was trying to do it quietly so no one knew. Well, all of a sudden, somebody comes rushing in and goes into the stall next to me. And I'm sitting there crying, and then all of a sudden this person has the most astronomical case of swamp ass I have ever heard in my life. I mean, it was like comically bad, like something straight out of like, you can't make this shit up. And, you know, at first I was like really upset because I was like, wow, like this day can't get any worse. I have to listen to this shit next to me while I'm having a horrible fucking day. So I start to cry a little harder, but I'm trying to like, you know, not be loud, and then the smell kicks in. It just like wafts out from underneath the stall and then hits me in the face. And so then finally I get to a point because it smells so bad that I'm like, lady, stop having swamp ass. I'm trying to cry. And I literally had to stop crying because it smelled so bad, and then just that thought alone made me start laughing, and I was so angry at my spirit guide team, even though I wasn't really spiritual at the time. I was just so mad at the universe because I was just like, God, like, let me be sad for 5 fucking minutes. Like, why would you interrupt me like that? That's so horrible. So finally, I just like wiped my eyes, pulled myself out of it, and then I left the stall and walked away because I was just like, that was so horrible. But by the end of it, I was laughing because I was like, I'm sorry, I can't be that depressed with it. Like, it just completely knocked me off my game. And so this is kind of your reminder to summarize the story that when you get into these deep bouts of depression and you really feel like you can't break out of it, think of the swamp ass story. Be like, listen, you can be sad for a certain period of time, you can cry, but then all of a sudden, you never know when the swamp ass lady's gonna come and get you. And sometimes you just gotta break yourself out of that pattern with some stupid, silly shit, because sometimes that's the only thing that's gonna work. Anyways, though, I just want to send you guys big hugs, you know, wiping your tears remotely, and, you know, just keep crying and moving forward. Do it sad, do it depressed, but just keep moving forward. Sending you guys a lot of love. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. If you would like a reading, links are in the description down below. Also, check out my website. I have a blog that talks about some of my experiences of how I worked through some of the worst moments of my life, dealing with PTSD and all this other stuff. And there's a list of resources on my website, so if you are struggling with your mental health, please seek help and find a professional. They can help you navigate some of these things. So, yeah, anyways, don't do this alone, guys. You're not alone. Hang in there. And again, good things are coming this year for you, I promise. Just because it feels overwhelming doesn't mean it's always going to be like this, okay? It's not going to be this way every day next year, I promise. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you around. Take care. Bye. Hello everyone, you have chosen pile number 4. And these are going to be your messages on what's coming towards you in 2026. Well, not gonna lie, y'all, your pile, the energy feels like good and kind of bad. I don't know, I keep rubbing my eyes like I've been crying, and it's sort of just like that feeling of there's not really much else I can do at the moment. So I'm going to keep myself warm and cozy, but at the same time, as the sticker says, it says be the good, and there's something about you guys that you have maybe a really kind, warm soul. Maybe you bring comfort to other people without even realizing it. I almost see like people huddled around you for warmth while it's cold outside. So just letting you guys know that, again, you don't have to be making major changes in the world to have a positive influence on the world around you, okay? And again, I kind of see it as like maybe just invite some people over to your house for some fun time, to get their mind off of things, or talk about something funny that happened to you in your past, or I don't know, I hear like, even just talking about your trauma or your troubles. Some people, they just want to hear about how much worse you had it. Rather than like maybe what's going on in the news or something else that's happening in their lives. I'm also hearing like, history too. Maybe you guys are really into history, or maybe like talking about it. I just see you guys kind of like nerding out and having some fun moments with people despite what's kind of happening around you. Like, I feel like really uneasy, but also at the same time, it's like, yeah, even though stuff's kind of rough, like, you're going to have some really positive memories and maybe even make some new friends, But again, I kind of see like everyone like huddled up in the winter, kind of being like, okay, like it's summer and we turn the heat off, but it still feels so cold, Yeah, maybe you've been going through it. And so this year, maybe, I feel like there's going to be some kind of a change for you guys. Pile number 4. Yeah, because some of you guys, you're going to learn a lesson. Maybe something that you've been avoiding for a while, but there's something about like good where it's like, you're maybe finally going to accept that you are the good guy, or like a good person. Or maybe you finally learn that there is good and hope in the world, Like, I don't know, I was just suddenly being reminded of a new friend I made who I was, struggling recently, and then they sent me some quick money because they're like, oh, hey, here, get yourself some dinner or whatever. And I was just like, thank you. And it was like one of the things that we kind of tell each other a lot is like, even though we met each other randomly, like, just even meeting them so casually and seeing how positive and amazing they are and how similar we are, it was kind of just like a wild random thing. But then I realized I was like, wow, there is a lot of good being done out there, even though you don't see it. And this person was complaining about stuff that I was complaining about, and I was just like, yeah, but like, you're kind of awesome though. And like, why do you think this way about yourself? That just doesn't make any sense. And then then we got to talking to each other, and I was like, oh, it's the trauma. And I was like, yeah. So really, this is just kind of like a reminder to spirit that like just because you had trauma maybe in the past doesn't mean that you don't have a positive outlook for your future. So there's something about like, not like this year is going to be your year, but this is going to be the year that you finally kind of accept that you are on the right path again, you know, and that you are doing good. I can't stop smiling. So again, maybe something good's going to happen to you, or maybe good karma between you and the people around you. I just see you guys, you're going to be safe and you're going to be loved and around people this year. And I think that alone is already pretty amazing. I also see you like, maybe you're gonna be a little like, like, I see some like either cutesy behavior or just kind of letting yourself being like, okay, I'm gonna let myself get a little emotional now. But it's gonna be good. I just feel like really warm, like after eating some good soup. So maybe you'll have some good meals, or just like that feeling of belonging somewhere. Yeah, and maybe feeling safe. Okay, so you've got the Page of Pentacles in reverse, Ace of Cups, Two of Cups, Knight of Swords in reverse, and then the King of Wands in reverse. So there's kind of like a weird dichotomy going on where I feel like you're going to start feeling in balance and more harmonious. That was weird. I was like suddenly feeling like maybe someone bad is finally going to jail, and so you and another person can finally like be free to be alone or something like that. I don't know. There's just some kind of like a positive and a negative energy are gonna cancel each other out, and you're finally gonna be like, whew, yeah, I can finally say the things that I wasn't able to say before, you know? And specifically with like the Knight of Swords in reverse, at first I was thinking like normally that's kind of like a negative thing, like a person who's like kind of rash and cold and calculating and running around. And I'm seeing like with Omega, the character that's depicted, he's a robot with him like shooting his guns everywhere. It's kind of like maybe something's going to come to a conclusion and you're going to see the good win in the end, you know? And you're finally going to get your truth back, or you're going to get your person back or something. I don't know. There's some kind of like a reunion of some kind where even if it's not like a person, it's going to be like a version of yourself where you're like, yay, now both of us can finally feel at ease, you know? And specifically, like, I just feel like with the reverse of the Knight of Swords, it feels like more, it's like it's going to be the defeat of this kind of energy. There's going to be some kind of a conflict or a battle that comes to a close, and even if this person goes out swinging, you know, I don't know, I'm just hearing like someone's going to jail, someone's getting in trouble, someone's finally getting put away, and you're going to be able to spend time being happier again in your truth, and either with this other person, you know, it's like maybe you're going to get some solo time with someone that you've been needing just some release and a time out. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking of someone that I got reconnected with recently, and it was just kind of like after years of feeling some turmoil and some stuff from our past, we finally got to sit together and just be like, we're just going to enjoy each other's company and not focus on the bad things. And we're just going to spend time together and just kind of love each other, you know, not in a like boyfriend girlfriend way, just literally being like, yeah, we're just gonna spend time together and it makes me feel good, you know? And with like the Ace of Cups, it feels like, you know, even though maybe it's raining outside, you finally don't feel miserable. So I'm also feeling like my heart feels like full for once, you know, like even though there's been like a lot of depressing energies kind of going around, I just felt like, but this one, it's safe, it's contained. It's like maybe you've been working on regulating yourself and you're finally like, hey, you know what? I just noticed that even though I'm crying, I feel better now. Like I don't feel like I'm completely running myself into the ground, or there's just a lot more balance. I do see with the King of Wands though, maybe there's going to be a little bit of stagnancy. I'm hearing a little jealousy. So maybe you're going to be really shiny soon, or maybe powerful. Maybe you and this other person are going to come out, or there's some kind of like, you're going to be visible in some kind of a way, maybe for the good that you do. And I just feel like there's going to be a lot of jealous people. There's going to be people, maybe something's going to backfire. Maybe people are going to try throwing stones at you a little bit, but it's all going to kind of like deflect off of you. You're going to be protected and safe. And it's kind of just like you're going to learn that even though there's fire around you, you're a little fireproof. You're kind of fireball. And, it's almost like, people are going to try throwing you a bone, and it's okay to catch the bone. You know what I mean? Like, there's kind of like this innocent energy of being like, you keep trying to give away your gifts when you need to receive that a little bit more. And you're like, no, like, this is for other people. And you're like, no, take your flowers, accept your flowers. I'm especially feeling that with like the Page of Pentacles, where it's like maybe you're going to get maybe a false start of some kind, or maybe you're like trying to ground something. Again, I keep feeling like for you guys, pile number 4, a relationship is going to be significant. And again, I don't want to even guarantee it's a romantic relationship. For some of you, it might be. For others of you, it could be a friend or like a slow burn thing. But I just see like there's something about this person that calms your demons. You know what I mean? It's kind of like this energy of like, oh, I'm so angry and fired up. And then you look at them and then you're like, I'm good now. They're like, what? And be like, yeah, okay, I don't want to be angry right now. Or I can't be angry with you. And then you just kind of like flowers. So yeah, I think like whatever you're doing is having a positive impact. And I just see, again, a lot of people kind of basking in your light and feeling really good and warm. This just feels so good. You guys, pile number 4, you're good for the soul. And again, even if you're not this person, other people around you are also going to be receiving your energy in a way that it's going to be returned back. Because I almost see like you don't really need to do too much. Just be. And even just sitting within yourself and giving yourself that own light, But I think you've already been doing that. And it's feeling more natural. And again, I think a lot of it was like maybe your superpower kind of stopped the bad guy or the villain and pointed out some stuff to people that they needed to see, And people are going to see you were right all along, You've got my greatest spiritual shifts don't come through force, they come through freedom. Yeah, I mean, this was pretty much all confirmation from that. When I surrender my will to the care of spirit in the universe, I attune my energy with an ever-present stream of well-being. Yeah, I think this is kind of just letting you know that, I'm seeing like red with almost like blood being spilt and stuff. And it's like, maybe things were kind of dangerous, maybe this tragedy or thing that happened affected you personally. But with like stream of well-being, Spirit's just reminding you that you guys will be safe. Let Spirit do the talking and the protecting energy. And, even if you're alone right now, understand that, focus on your light. Because your truth is what matters at the end of the day, and you are representing what Spirit wants to see in this world. And, I'm so proud of you guys. You've come so far and worked so hard. You deserve every penny and every inch of what's coming towards you guys. This year and the next couple of years. I can't fight this feeling anymore. You mean the world to me. When the time is right, I will be with you. Aww. Aww. Yeah. Yeah, there's just kind of like a reunion energy or a get back together energy that's gonna really feel good. And it says like when the time is right. It's kind of like maybe when the swords die down, when you're shining bright out there doing your thing, that's when maybe this person will say, hey. Or there's something about like introducing you to somebody. So maybe someone saw your light and it cut through their darkness and they wanted to introduce themselves to you. Maybe they're going to introduce their true self to you. I don't know. It's something spiritually guided that's coming through, and you're just going to feel really at peace. Knowing that this person exists and knowing that you either resolved your issues or there's a way to come back to the way things used to be. And again, like with the you mean the world to me, you know, this could be a parent, this could be a friendship, this could be, again, a lover. It doesn't really seem to matter. It's going to feel good when you know how to talk to your friends again about certain things. And it's kind of like, maybe it's because you couldn't fight. Maybe it's because you refused to. Maybe because you said, you're my brother and my sister spiritually, and I'm not going to let that go. Yeah. Because you refuse to trade your soul and your value system for money, for hard work, and all this other stuff. You said, no, I'm going to be the good instead. And I'm going to choose to sit with my emotions and protect myself and my energy and hold back. I'm going to wait for the sun to come out again. And when the sun comes out, it's going to show everybody the truth and the light and the lies and all the other stuff. And people are going to say, hey, get in the car. That's showbiz. You know, that's a wrap. You know, and then you're going to be on to your next adventure. But all I'm going to say, though, pile number 4, it's been a long run. You guys are closing a final chapter, a really important chapter, but it's going to be a well-received union, and it's going to be only uphill from there. And maybe you had to uproot, maybe you will uproot yourself and move somewhere else, but you're going to be making a positive impact somewhere else, and it's going to be a lot better wherever you're going to end up going. And even though people are going to miss you a ton, continue to be the good. You're going to be back some point soon, but for now you need a break and time alone to be happy with your best friend. So yeah. Now I'm feeling like the good crying, you know, but it's just like really peaceful sitting in this energy. Yeah. Congratulations, pile number 4. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below if this resonated with you. If you are interested in purchasing a reading, links in the description down below. And check out my website and my blog where you can see resources and information about mental health topics, spirituality, all that good stuff. I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, everyone. You have chosen pile number 5. And these are going to be your messages on what's coming your way in 2026. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm hearing you guys are going to have a heartfelt reunion of some kind. So maybe you guys are going to be hanging out with close friends, or there's some kind of like a gathering you're going to be attending. Maybe you're going to have a happy Pride Fest. I don't know, because I don't want to assume this is an LGBTQ pile. But I do feel like sunshine and rainbows is kind of the energy that we're getting here. We've had a wide range of experiences and exposure throughout this reading, so I'm glad to find a pile that's like, feels like it's going to be overwhelmingly positive for you guys, pile number 5. Again, assuming you're probably going to have multiple instances and messages throughout the year, I'm assuming this is probably just going to be one aspect of the things you're going to encounter, but I have high hopes. And I'm hearing a lot of music too, so maybe you guys are going to go to some concerts. Because before I pulled your card, I was like thinking of bad omens in my head, and then I was just like, all right, like let's cut out the edgy music. So then I was like hearing like Brendan Urie and like high hopes. So I was like, okay, so I'm seeing like you singing with your friends and maybe going out dancing or being like, we're doing some karaoke. I don't care how bad I sound. Yeah. It's kind of like wipe the tears away and just having a good time and just being like, bleh. Just spreading love out to everybody. Let's go ahead and see what kind of messages you got. Yeah, I'm feeling kind of sleepy, and I mean, some of that is my energy, not gonna lie, but I also feel like some of you guys too, you're just kind of like, you're gonna be taking a lot more naps. You're gonna be taking care of yourself. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. I saw like almost like a guitar with flames, and it was just like, yeah, like I was seeing like jamming out. So I would not be surprised if this is a very musically inclined group. But I see you guys just being like, yeah, headbanging and having lots of fun and energy. I'm seeing spontaneousness and running around, having a good time. And I feel like it's going to depend on the season too, because for some of you guys, maybe your time is the summer. So like whatever your favorite season is, that's when you're going to be thriving. I know for me, I'm a fall person, so I love the fall. All the other seasons are okay. I can enjoy it, but like fall's where it's at. But again, I'm almost seeing like, again, this is going to be your rock star year. Like you're going to be out there being like, yeah, oh my gosh, let's everybody get hyped, and it's almost like, with this really epic, stance, maybe you're gonna get like a photo taken of you doing something really cool, or I just see you looking like a badass. So maybe if you guys are gonna be like on stage performing, speaking, doing something, you're just gonna be on fire. And I think it's kind of like, it doesn't really matter how many people show up. When you maintain this rhythm and energy, you're gonna start making massive waves. I don't know, like again, I'm seeing like crowd surfing, and there's just like a huge communal type energy that, you're just gonna really feel in the moment, regardless of if you're on stage or in the crowd. You're gonna be harnessing your power. And it's almost like I see with the sword, I'm inclined to think of like the Knight of Swords, even though this is not the Knight of Swords. It just feels like you're gonna be having your truth in your hand, and you're gonna be like, yeah, this is who I am, and this is how it is. My eyes also got drawn to the 10 of Cups, and oh, hello there. Because I looked over, and I was like, the Queen of Pentacles, but then I was like, the Queen of Water, so I was like, a water sign, but that's definitely an earth sign, with like lots of hearts and stuff like that, and I was just like, ooh, hello, ladies. So I'm seeing like maybe you guys might have a little bit of flirty experiences, maybe having some fun with some people. But yeah, 10 of Cups is all about like emotional fulfillment, family gatherings and all that. So maybe you'll be spending time with your family, even if it's chosen family. And I just see like, eyes are going to be on you, but in a really positive way, and I feel like you guys are going to feel really content, protected and safe. With travel in reverse, that card's technically the Fool card. But I have a feeling you guys are going to be like staying home a lot this year. Like there's something about like, we're not going out. Or you're going to be going over and spending a lot of time at a friend's house. But like, I feel like if you do have some kind of a group gathering, you're all like not traveling long distances this year. You're going to be like, all right, we're going to go X marks the spot, and then wherever that spot is, we're all going to go just scream our feelings out and having a good time, and I feel like with this 5 of Cups here, you guys are transforming. Maybe you guys are missing somebody, that might be currently going through their own transformation. Maybe you're sitting there, this could be you, where you're like, oh man, I'm never going to go out and find my best friend or whatever. Meanwhile, you're sitting there like your best friend's like leveling up, supercharging, whatever, turning into this fiery badass monster of a human, like, I don't know. This is kind of funny because I see like a lot of people like crying and whatever, when it's just like, guys, it's gonna be okay. Like, it's gonna be fine, for real. Like in Sonic mythology, when you see that little cocoon on the Chow, if they're dying, that's a bad thing, obviously. But like in general, it means they're transforming into the next evolution. And so either you're gonna be doing this or someone else in your life is. And I just feel like you're gonna feel a lot closer to either this person who changed or somebody else. Again, maybe someone is going to come out to you. Maybe someone's finally going to be like, hey, you know what? You were right this whole time. And I'm sorry if I was acting this way. But it's kind of like, this is the card of crying over spilled milk, where it's just like, hey, like, it's going to be okay, guys. Don't let these other people get in your head. Or, like, again, it's okay to be terrified and exhausted, but also just, like, let yourself rest and be transformed, because I'm sorry, like, the gays are resilient and tough and amazing in so many different ways. And even if things feel really dark, you still got a lot of badasses around you, and if anything, it's going to teach you that you're a lot stronger than you think. And again, you're like a little tiny dinosaur, yeah. Maybe somebody's going to be going to an anime convention or dyeing their hair, doing something silly. I don't know. With the Six of Cups here, I almost see you guys kind of like spinning on a hamster wheel. So maybe there's going to be a good chunk of this year where you're going to be like, all right, just going through the motions, one foot in front of the other, the hamster wheel, the grind, but again, you're in this with other people. You know what I mean? So it's almost like you're going to have a fun time because you're like, okay, we're all doing this together. So again, I'm seeing like either community organizing, maybe you're finally stepping out and saying, hey, oh God, this is a dated term, but YOLO, like, let's go out there and make some new friends. And yeah, actually these people are pretty cool. Or you're learning to get more accustomed to, I don't know, like things are gonna be a lot easier for you guys this year. Again, it's kind of like knowing where you fit. And I just see you with a group of friends and it's feeling really powerful, where it's just like, again, seeing like that on stage, like maybe you're gonna join a band, maybe you're gonna be like, again, I'm feeling just like, even if you're not physically on stage, you're going to be kind of in the limelight, amongst your people and other people, and it's going to be like, like the light shines in on you as you're transforming, and everyone's going like, oh, what's going to come out, like, and like, again, at the Queen of Pentacles here, Amy Rose is a very specific character, she's kind of like, the annoying female character that comes in and has all the romantic love interest, but over time her character's really evolved into having more depth, and it's almost like, there's just kind of like a bringing love in a way that's unexpected, and also too, like, maybe fangirl energy, let people fangirl over you, or with you, I always tell people, especially musicians, like, never underestimate the power of the fangirl, even if it's your inner fangirl, okay? All right, we've got some message cards. I'm not ignoring you, I just need to focus on myself right now. We've tried to run from our love, but our souls crave this magic. You have my whole heart. I'm sorry. This first card, I was like, I'm not ignoring you, I just need to focus on myself right now. I was immediately seeing this, right? So like maybe there's times where you're like, hey guys, no offense, I gotta close up shop. I'm really not feeling it today. And everyone's just like, no, like, you keep me safe and warm and happy. And you're just like, okay, I understand, but like, I really need to rest and shut down. And they're like, and everyone's like sad that you have PTSD or whatever sad things. And it's okay, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be embarrassed for hiding your face sometimes, but like, it's so funny because I was reading the card and then this came in, it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, completely overrun by love, where it's like, I almost see you being like, okay, I'm just gonna like, go to sleep. I'm gonna put on my Zen music or whatever. And then your partner comes running and is like, hey, by the way, I'm in love with you now. Oh, what are you doing? And you're just like, I was trying to sleep. And then you came in and they're like, well, guess what? I figured out I'm in love with you. And then like, you're like, I know this. Can I go back to bed? And they're like, yeah, I just needed to tell you. And then meanwhile, you're like, all right, I can't fall back to sleep. Okay. And then they come running over to you and hop in bed with you. And they're like, yay. This is so silly. But it's like that we've tried to run from our love and our souls crave this magic. I'm sorry, that's so dramatic. And it's kind of gay. I'm not gonna lie, like, our souls crave this magic. It's like, So maybe someone's gonna stop fighting it, stop fighting their feelings for you, or like again, if this is the queer group, you know, it's kind of like suddenly being like, yeah, I'm gay. I accept this now. All right, let's embrace the gayness, you know, like let's really just stop giving a shit. And you have my whole heart, you know, like I feel like you guys are going to be in a place where you're really going to be transformed in a way where you can authentically fully be you and be fearlessly you know, because you only got one life to live. And even if that makes other people around you sad, like for some of you guys, you've got like some really toxic friends or family member that are like, oh my god, we lost another one to the left woke hive mind. Meanwhile, they're like dead on the inside and miserable, and you're sitting there going like, woohoo, yay, me and my friends are all having fun. Like, don't worry about them. Seriously. Like, again, you don't need to go very far to find these people. You have a great support system. They're neighbors and friends and people that are willing to fight and protect you. And I don't know, you're just gonna meet a really great community. Oh, I'm so excited for you guys. This is great. And again, it's like, there's like I'm not ignoring you. You know, like, please don't take people's behavior seriously this year because there's a lot of people that are going through stuff. And yeah, you know, just make sure you communicate to you and say like, hey, I'm not ignoring you. I am literally like depressed as shit right now. And I'm feeling connected to spirit. I feel a sense of certainty, magnitude, and ease that I've never known before. Yeah, it's almost like I kept like wanting to rush ahead, and spirit's like, slow down, back to center, and you're like, okay, yeah. You know, you're getting a much even pace with this forward motion. But like being connected to spirit is like really, really important for this next phase. Yeah, because it's saying like, hey, God loves you, spirit loves you, your spirit guide team, your ancestors, you know, blessings are coming your way, and it's important to accept that about yourself. You know, like God doesn't hate you for being queer, you know, like, no. Like, how could God hate you? Look at you. You're being represented by this. Okay. It's about really, truly self-acceptance and letting the haters hate. You know? Oh, this is another soulmate card with the cardinal. But it says, when I'm in a state of appreciation, I'm in vibrational alignment with my true love nature. Yeah. Yeah, maybe some of you guys are going to be connecting to nature more, so maybe going out on hikes. But again, I see you and a lover or a love interest just really kind of like, I heard a word preening each other, so like birds or like cats when they're grooming each other. It's just going to be like, you and other people are just going to be taking care of each other in just an authentic, loving way. And again, it doesn't even feel like it needs to be romantic. It's kind of more of like, hey, I found my people, and we can just be loving with each other, and it's not, there's not the same boundaries and limitations that there are in other kinds of relationships. Because I found my people, and so we know how to speak each other's love language. The universe has big plans for me, and it's time to claim them. Yes. Own it. I heard like own your monster, which I was just like, why do you keep saying monster when it's just like me and my ADHD hive brain, you know? Like, I'm a little dinosaur, rar. You know, maybe the version of you that you hated for a long time finally became your greatest asset. And I was complaining to someone in my brain earlier today, and all I was thinking was, you created me! You created this monster! And it's kind of like, it's an annoying threat. It's not a real threat, but it's just like, you know? It's like, guess what? I'm coming in for the hug, and you can't stop it! Unless you don't consent, but still. Alright, and then finally we've got align and show up. Yeah, yeah, there's something about this upcoming year where you're going to show up for you. You know, it says consistency is queen in marketing your business online. Show up every day for your audience, give value, and make offers. Yeah, there's something about like, you know, this upcoming year, you're going to be showing up in a much more clear and consistent way. Again, even if you have your downward spirals, you're now finally moving in alignment with what is authentic to you, which is super cool and super amazing for you guys, because I feel like you've been trying for a long time to resist your inner truth, your inner wild child animal, but just go with the flow and it's going to move a lot easier for you, especially when you got this fire and passion burning inside of you. You know, it says stay in alignment with your core values and your vision for the lifestyle you want to create with your business. Yeah. Pretty straightforward. Like, just as long as you stay in line with your truth, this year is going to be great and amazing for you. In its own way. And I think it's going to be kind of perfect for as good as it can get for you guys. And I just kind of see you guys being like, oh, I'm scared of the future. But like, really, it's going to work itself out. It's like you can make it as great as you want it to be, or you can experience what the other piles are going through. And so even if you've picked multiple piles, it's okay to be able to accept that, you know, even if there are down times, this is still an opportunity and it's still an option for you to have and receive this year. It just all comes down to your choices. And again, stay on the hamster wheel. Even when you're by yourself, friends may come and go. People may move cities and change landscapes, but at the end of the day, you are you, and stay true to that. Again, you've tried to run. You can run, but you cannot hide. Anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below if this resonated with you. Sending you guys a lot of love. And if you're interested in booking a reading with me, links are in the description down below. And check out my website and blog for professional mental health resources and communication about different mental health topics and spirituality. Anyways, thank you guys so much, and I will see you all next time. Take care, bye!